How we doing, guys? The camera looks a bit better, huh? Quality looks a bit better. Tell me. Tell me how it looks. I'm not taking all my clothes off. Yeah, I had to adjust the camera because I wasn't really happy with how it was looking. So it should be higher quality. Should be better. So, are women gonna get drafted? Huh? If we have a draft, are women gonna get drafted? World War III's approaching. It is upon us. Are women gonna get drafted? No, they're not. That's the craziest thing, actually. The craziest thing is that women are not going to get drafted, which is actually kind of wild. It's just crazy that they have all this equality, and yet we're not giving them the respect of drafting them into our military to go fight and die for their country. If there is a draft for World War III and women are not drafted, bro. I mean, bruh. And they're not going to get drafted. So like what are we even living in? What is this timeline, bro? What is this timeline where women can get equality in all the things that serve them, that benefit them, and yet there's no equality on all the things that don't benefit them? I mean, really, the things that do benefit them actually don't benefit them, but you know, they'll never admit that. But yeah, man, we need Megan Rapinoe to lead the charge, the ground forces into Iran when Trump sends the ground forces in. I want Megan Rapinoe to be on the front lines, leading the charge. I think she's great for it because she led the women's national soccer team to hella victories. And she's like a champion of women's rights and equality and independence and power. So look, I think you would, I just want to say from the jump, I nominate Megan Rapinoe to be our fucking, not even our general, because she's gritty, she's tough. We need her on the front lines because she can make quick decisions. She's a strategist. She's intelligent. She's sharp, right? She's a woman. She's a woman. She thinks through things. She sees the nuance where all these men, these grunts, these monkeys, they don't, right? They just want to shoot a gun, dude. They just want to shoot a gun. They just want to shoot a gun and kill something because they're angry. Because their entire country is filled with Megan Rapinoes, okay? They just want to shoot a gun. So what we need is Megan Rapinoe and Amy Schumer and who's another one? Ariana Grande. We need Megan Rapinoe, Ariana Grande, Amy Schumer. Although Amy Schumer's pretty old, I don't think she would have a shot. But who's a young one? Like how about, what's her name? Jennifer Carpenter? Is she the singer? The real young singer? That like hates men and like she's super feminist. She's all about equality. Look, I think we need Jennifer Carpenter, Megan Rapinoe, Ariana Grande. Who's her black, like, lesbian lover from Wicked? We need her. We need her on the front lines. We need them leading the force here into Iran. Okay? It's just what needs to happen. Because Megan Rapinoe's she can think through things, right? She is as good as a man. She's probably better than most men are at most things, right? So we need her out there on the front lines because she's going to know what she's doing. We need women on the front lines because they're actually better than us men in all these things that us men were good at for forever. They're replacing us in education, right? So shouldn't they replace us on the front lines? They know more than us. They're smarter than us, right? There's some debate about whether, are you actually smart just because you can consume information without thinking for yourself and then just regurgitating it onto a page to get an A. There's some people that make that argument, but really I think it's just weak. I think it's just lazy. I think it's baseless. Okay? That's just what dumb people say. Because that's what people say who couldn't get the good grades. Clearly, the measure of intelligence is what grade you can get in college on a paper, what a teacher, what a professor, what grade they give you for curriculum that is standardized. See, look at me, dude. I can't even say curriculum. You really think I should be fighting a war, shooting anybody? I don't know what the hell I'm even talking about, bro. I don't even know how to speak. You think I could really command soldiers out there on the front lines? I can't even speak English, bro. I can barely even think. Bro. I need Megan Rapinoe right now, here in this basement, to save me from the embarrassment that I am bestowing upon myself, because I'm just too stupid to not do it. You know what I mean? So, that's what we need, man. We need these. So there's these arguments. Dude, I lose my train of thought like a motherfucker, bro. There's these arguments that I think it's about thinking for yourself, and it's not good. You have to agree with the system. You have to take in and put down back on a page what you've been taught. And you're not really supposed to think about whether it's right or wrong, or what are the holes in their arguments or in their belief systems. You're not really supposed to think about that. You're not supposed to upset anybody either. That's the one thing I can say about Megan Rapinoe is she's never upset anybody. Only really men is she's upset. But who cares if you upset men? You know what I mean? Like, nobody really cares if you upset men, because men can deal with it. Men can deal with it. That's what they've been bred to do. Their entire existence is just to deal with being upset, with women making them upset. That's what men are bred for. We're literally we're hogs. We're horses. We take the brunt. And just throw on another load, please. Get on my back. I'm gonna take us to the promised land. And all I'm gonna get is some hay, some grass, and a bucket of water, and a pat on the butt, saying good job, steed. And then you take the riches and the glory and all the hoes for yourself. That's what a man is. That's what a man is. That's what a male is. That's all he is, man. So, this is what we need. We need women leading the charge, leading the fight. Because, men, dude, I lose my train of thought. It is insane. Men take the brunt. That's what we're for. We're there to take the brunt of it. We're there to deal with it. Nobody cares if you piss men off, because we're meant to deal with being pissed off. That's what the point of a man is. The point of a man is for a woman to act however she wants and to be crazy and to lose her mind at you, and to be hot and cold, and like you sometimes and want to kill you some mornings, and cheat on you some nights, and play games with your mind, and you're just supposed to, and her wishes sway with the wind and the weather and the humidity, and you're just supposed to take it. You're supposed to deal with all of it. You're just supposed to handle it. You can't ever take out your frustration on anything, because then you're weak. You're a weak man if you can't handle everything that a woman throws at you. She throws everything at you, you know? The guys like that, dudes like that, you don't want leading the charge. You want women that throw all that stuff at men, that throw everything, the kitchen sink, all this crap. You want them to lead the charge. You want them to lead the charge. Because if they can throw all this shit at men, right? If they're constantly this way and that way, unpredictable, that's what they're going to be on the battlefield, bro. They're going to be unpredictable as hell. And if I know one thing about military strategy, it is you have to be unpredictable as hell to win a war. That is number one, right? Unpredictable. The enemy don't know which way you're going. There is no rhyme or reason to what you're doing. You know, you're this way and that. You're up and you're down. You're in the mountains. Then you're in the caves. Then you're in the rivers. You're hooting and hollering. You know, you got a machete in one hand and you got a fucking bazooka in the other. You know, you're in the Speedo. Dudes just don't know what's going on, right? This is what we need. This is what we need. We need women to lead the charge in World War III. I'm convinced we can't win the war without them. We can't win the war without them. Look, the entire U.S. economy is built basically on women's consumption. You know, them buying things, buying fucking manicures and pedicures, and buying sweaters and shoes and fragrances, getting their I don't know, whatever the fuck they do. They buy furniture. They buy little knickknacks for their living room. They buy cooking utensils that they don't need. They buy yarn sets that they never use. They buy this, they buy that. They buy a book they never read. They buy a makeup set, and more makeup, and then more makeup. Then they buy some pillows. They buy some pillow covers. And they buy this. They buy. The world needs the entire world economy is built on women's spending. You know what I mean? The entire U.S. economy would collapse without women spending. So, you know, I'm pretty sure a war effort would absolutely collapse without women. The educational system, you know, 60% of college graduates or more are women. I don't even know. It might be more of attendees. That's entirely subsistent on women, right? On women going to college. The entire educational system would collapse without women. We need women, bro. We need women, you know. Women gotta fight and die on the front lines. This is what we need them for. This is what they're made for. And you know, this is equality. This is equality. This is equality. Power, independence, freedom, equality, equal rights. Equal rights. This is equal rights. You know? We're trying to give you equal rights in everything. Even though men have a lesser of a right to life, historically. You know? We're the ones that have to go. Historically, we've been the ones that, we have to be the ones that go and fight and die for our country, right? We're the ones that get drafted, right? Our lives don't mean as much. We have a less of a right to life than women do. Well, look, we still got to fight wars, so We all got to be on equal rights here. How do we have a less of a right to life than you? We got to have an equal right to life. So you got to get on our level. I mean, if we're talking about equality here, man, we're talking about equality here. Ladies, this is only equal. This is only fair. You know? But it's just the craziest thing is that they won't get drafted, you know? Is that they won't get drafted. It's actually crazy. It's a crazy world we live in. What are we gonna do, boys? What are we gonna do? Do women even need us? Do women even need us? I don't think women need us anymore. That's the thing. Women don't really need us. You know what I've been thinking about? I've been thinking about quitting my job. I want to quit my job. Because I don't want to. What's the point of working, bro? What's the point of working? What's the point of working? The thing is, men today, you have to work. You have to work the same amount of hours to get like 80% less than what your parents and grandparents did, right? You have to work double the amount of hours to get 50% less or 60% less than what they did. You're just, every single day that goes by, we are just becoming more and more slaves. At a certain point, work just doesn't really become worth it anymore. Because yeah, you're basically just working to survive. You're basically just working to exist. Just so you don't die. You're working so that you can feed yourself and have running water and have shelter over your head. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. There's no shot of getting a woman here. I'm not gonna get, you know. But then it's like sometimes I change my mind about like value maxing, because I know I kind of went on a rant previously about like looks maxing and value maxing to be as attractive as possible to the opposite sex. But then I can also take the other side of that coin and just, you know, there is a case to be made for bum maxing, although I think bum maxing only really applies to if you're attractive. You can only really get away with bum maxing if you're attractive. If you're an attractive male, you can bum max. If you're a goblin, you cannot bum max, bro. Okay, goblins don't bum max. That's what I'm gonna name this stream. Or maybe a video clip or something. Goblins don't bum max, bro. If you're a goblin, you cannot get away with bum maxing. Okay? What are we supposed to, because this is the thing, there's all these theories about, do we bum max? Do we value max? Do we looks max? At what point are you just feeding the insatiable beast here? I mean, I get bum maxing. I like that. I like the idea of bum maxing, right? Especially in this day and age where all your efforts don't really go to anything. It would be one thing if, you know, looks maxing and value maxing, that would be one thing. If your money actually wasn't deteriorating, you know, in real time in your pocket, you know, if there was actually a chance of you ever getting a home, if there was actually a chance of you ever getting like even remotely a traditional woman who you could have kids with, and there's a chance of a happy future here, then you can make the case for value maxing. Hey man, just put your head down, work hard. Just put your head down, work hard. Just got to work harder. Just got to work harder. That's what they say about today, is like, you know, you'll say some black pill shit like, hey, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, you know, we're basically just debt slaves. And You know, we're just slaves in a system that like hates us. And you have to work so hard to get ahead. Like, you have to work way harder than your parents and your grandparents did. You know, when your parents and grandparents say, hey, you just got to work harder, boy, you just got to work harder, you just got to do this, you just got to do that. Well, okay, well, number one, half of our jobs are being taken by machines, okay? So you didn't have that problem. You didn't have a superhuman intelligent AI just coming and just stealing your job out from under your nose, okay? A job which, by the way, you got into $250,000 worth of student loan debt to be able to get this job. Okay, and then it's just whoop, just right out from underneath your nose. So number one, you didn't have like half the jobs, you know, just being taken away from you. Number two, you know, we have to, us putting our head down and working harder is we have to work twice as long as you did. You know, we have to work twice as long as you did with a co-worker demographic that is completely, probably hates us, right? They're all either black, liberal, feminist, or they're trans, or they're, you know, most of them are women. They all hate us. So you were working with like the boys. You were working with the boys in like offices where women were like rubbing your feet, and like you were smoking cigars and like downing whiskey in your office, right? And like just cracking jokes and just like, you know, fake, like jerking off onto the window and just like splooging onto the window on your like 82nd floor, you know, office that like looks down on fucking Times Square. Okay. Well, I mean, even if you weren't that, you were some dude who was working construction, or you're some plumber, or you're in some, dude, you could even be what you could be the cashier of a fucking hotel, you know, or like a grocery store, and those dudes had houses. Like, who am I kidding? You didn't even have to have like a good job to have like a house and like kids and like a wife and all this stuff. So there's that. We have to work twice as hard, you know, no, not even twice as hard. We have to work 10 times as hard around people who disagree with us and hate us and basically want us gone, right? And think that anything we say is like, you know, toxic and patriarchal and shit. And so we have to work with people who hate us. All the businesses. That's my boss. That's my boss, because I told him, dude, I want to take like 3 to 4 months off this summer. And if you can't give me 3 to 4 months off, then I quit. You know what I mean? Because there really is no ROI anymore. There really is no ROI. You know? Sometimes you need a break. He's calling me because he's like, he can't believe this. This is the crazy thing. Like, you text somebody and you're like, hey, I just want to take a few months off. Dude never calls me. Now he calls me because he's like, this is just, I don't even understand. I don't even understand. Like, how is this possible? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, dude, what do I mean? What do I mean? There's no future. That's what I mean. The money doesn't buy anything. That's what I mean. There ain't no women. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. There ain't no women, bro. The women hate us, bro. I'm working. I'm pulling things upstairs. I'm working double time. I have a second job in a YouTube channel, which he doesn't even know about. But like, bro, I'm working. I basically have 2 income streams here, and I'm just working to, you know, like, bro, I'm discussing in the chat with like degens online of like how to pick up radical feminists in the gym who are probably have, you know, 100 body counts on them each, and like basically, you know, hate me, and they're bipolar, and I'm just trying to get pussy for like one night. You know what I mean? Like, we're not talking about anything beyond that. We're not talking about dating. We're not talking about wife. We're not talking about kids. We're not talking about a house. We're not talking about anything. He doesn't even have a house. He's trying to get a house. He keeps telling me all the time, I'm trying to get a house, bro. I'm trying to get a house. He's even texting me now. Dude, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, bro? You don't want to work? You don't want to work? For what? For what, bro? For what? For what? For what? For what, bro? At a certain point, you have to ask yourself, what the hell am I doing? You know? Even the slaves at one point were like, yo, like, what the fuck is this shit? He has not one, not two, but 3 jobs, 3 income streams, okay? He works a hella nice cush, like 9-to-5 job where he makes bank, dude. He makes like 6 figures. I don't even know how much 6 figures he makes, but I think it's over 200 grand a year. Then he runs this business that I work for, this small business that I work for. And then he has a third business, which he just started. He just started, right? Because he's trying to buy a home. Apparently making 200 grand a year and having a business, full-on business, which has been running for like 3-4 years now. And he says it makes money. It does make money. It gets like hella business, dude. Like, you know what I mean? He's paying me my entire salary, and like, you know, it's a business. It makes money. But apparently making 200 grand with a small business is not enough to get a house, right? And he doesn't even live in like the DC area. He lives way out. He lives way out, bro. In like the suburbs, even beyond that. Well, I guess you could consider them suburbs, but you know, so these houses aren't even like, they're not even crazy. They're not even the most expensive houses, and he can't even get a house. And it's like, bro, I mean, he's like 40 or whatever, and he's got a girlfriend, but he doesn't have kids, no house, you know, and it's just like, come on, dude. Like, what are we even doing? At a certain point, bro, at a certain point, like, you don't complain, right? I'm not really about complaining. I know this basically is all I've been doing so far, but this is not, there's a complaint in a way of I'm trying to affect change, okay? Because I'm not complaining just in my basement alone. I'm complaining to people on the internet, and I'm affecting change, real change, okay? This is huge movement, okay? Affecting there's ripple effects here, but I don't like complaining. I don't like complaining. Either you accept the situation or you change it. I would classify what I'm doing as changing it. But you know, you accept it you can only accept it so long until it's like, I'm kind of just a slave, aren't I? I mean, you know what I mean? Like at a certain point, how much further do you need to go? How much further do you need to go? Does this need to go? You know, you shouldn't have to work 4 jobs to save money. you shouldn't have to work 4 jobs to, you know, earn a decent living and have a hope for a future and a house and kids and a wife that loves you and is not radicalized feminist, you know, bipolar, depressed, anxious, multiple personalities, you know, medicine cabinet overflowing through out of the, you know, overflowing out of the brim. You know, you shouldn't have to work 4 jobs for that. You know, you should have to work 4 jobs to conquer planets. You know, like you should have to work 4 jobs to have citadels and like castles in like multiple countries. You know, it's just because like boomers and like people who just lived before us, they don't understand that it's not about, oh, you're working you know, I used to work longer hours than you. Okay, well, you made your money, like you made way more. Your purchasing power was substantially more. It was like 110% more than me, or like 200% more than me, or something crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? Well, you should go to college and like get it. Yeah, no, go to college. Yeah, get in. You were in debt that was like, I don't know, 10% or 5% of your net worth or your income or something. Okay, our debt is like, maybe it might not have been that small, maybe like 50% or something like that, but like our debt is our debt is like 300-500% of our, if we went to college, like a 4-year college, it would be like 300-500% of our annual income. So it's not the same, bro. It's not the same. You can go get fucked. You can go get fucked. You know what I mean? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Your money was worth something. Our money is worth nothing. We wipe our ass with it. We wipe our ass with $20 bills, $50 bills, $100 bills. Like, fuck that shit. I'm telling you, bro, the devaluation of the currency is literally societal rot. Currency, money is time and energy in an abstract, it's abstracted into a token or a medium or a vehicle or whatever. And it holds your time and energy, right? You exchange your time and energy for money, right? And so ideally this money would hold your time and energy over time. And as we produce more and more things with technology, with AI and all these things, okay, everything gets better, everything gets cheaper, quality of life gets better over time, okay? So if your money was holding your time and energy that was buying a certain amount in the past, but now it's here in the future where there's an abundance of more things, where information travels faster, where you get your food faster, where food is made more cheaply, where products are made more cheaply, where you have a TV and you have air conditioning and you have all this stuff. It's no longer, you're not living in a fucking, some place where you have to open your window, to get, in the summer to get like some breeze or something like that, where you actually have a refrigerator. You have a refrigerator, you have a TV, all this stuff. You have the internet, bro. The internet didn't exist, until like 1980 or whatever, 70 or whatever, right? Now you have the internet, everything travels faster, everything's at the click of a button. Okay, great. But, your money is supposed to buy more. It's supposed to buy more in this scenario. You have more at your fingertips. It's supposed to buy you more. It buys us less than ever. And yet the quality of life is astronomical, right? Technology at all-time highs. That's because our entire system is based on debt. We've pulled value from the future and brought it into the present. That's what debt is. You're borrowing money from the future and bringing it into the present. That's why as we get further into the future, shit sucks. Shit is hella bad. Oh, because we brought all this value that was supposed to be here. And we brought it into the future, which is now into the present, which is now the past. And when you erode this fundamental exchange of time and energy between all participants, men and women in a society, all of us, everything depends on exchange of time and energy. Human societies depend on exchange of time and energy. That's it. Your time and your energy is finite. Your time and your energy is finite. Your money is not. So you're exchanging finite resources for an infinite resource that can get debased, right? That can get debased. More units are printed. That means each unit is worth less. You exchange your time and energy. You went to a job for 8 hours a day and you exchanged that 8 hours and all those calories and all that brain power and all that stress and dealing with those feminists and dealing with those trans people and those black people and all these people who hate you that have been led into the country, right? And, because nobody's having kids, right? So we have to replace, all these workers with, people that don't even agree with us culturally. And men are starting to wake up and the system's like rigged and they don't even want to work anymore. So now all these women have to get recruited into the workforce because they're not going to think anything. They just want money, and they don't even think, right? They don't think anything. They just want approval. They want social approval. They want status. They want to move up. They don't actually think about the bigger picture here, right? Every man like knows that this shit is rigged. It's all fucked, right? Women are just like, oh yeah, let me go to my job and earn my money, and I'm an HR manager, all this shit. But you exchange these 8 hours for this money, and you know, it was let's say it was $100. Say it was $100. Okay, well, whatever that buys you now, that's gonna buy you less in the future, right? So your time and energy, that another way of saying that is your time and energy in the future is worth less. It's time and energy theft. That's all it is. It's time and energy theft. That's what currency printing is. And that's why none of us can get girlfriends. That's why everything's fucked. That's why my boss is hitting me up and being like, dude, what do you mean? What are you doing? Like, bro, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, the shit is wrapped. And not only this, but like you're in this society that basically hates you. Like, they hate you, bro. They hate you for saying, like, especially if you say anything that's wrong with, you know, what women are doing, and that women aren't attractive to us anymore because they're all like men. And then they say, well, you're just insecure. It's like, no, like, you're just not attractive. Oh, well, you're just insecure. No, you're not attractive. Oh, are you sure you're just not insecure? No, you're unattractive to me. You're unattractive. I don't, like, what do you want? What do you want? We no longer have control over anything, you know? There's no, they've just made women into men. And it's like, and you guys wonder why we're no longer, you guys don't even need us anymore. Which is the crazy thing. Like, they used to need us for money, and that used to be like a form of power, right? We could actually wield a great amount of power over women with money, you know, like basically financial captivity or financial abuse or whatever. You'd actually exert a good amount of influence over women with money. They didn't have rights, right? They couldn't vote. The only reason that they were submissive is because they didn't have any other choice. That's the only reason that women were ever submissive, is because they didn't have any other choice. Is because we didn't give them a choice. You know what I mean? We didn't give them a choice. We said, no, you can't vote. You know? No, you can't get educated. No, if you want to work, it's only these specific jobs. No, you can't get promoted in this. No, you can't do that. No, you can't have abortions. You can't just cancel kids, right? No, you can't have birth control because there are consequences. There are natural consequences that nature implemented for a reason. Nature is smart. Nature is intelligent, right? If you have sex with a ton of men, you need to bear the brunt, the consequences of that. Everybody needs to know that you're a hoe. Everybody needs to know that you have multiple children from multiple men. Everybody, you need to be raising three different kids from three different men, and everybody needs to castigate you for that. You know, they need to tell you that that's terrible, that's awful, right? You need to deal with the consequences of that. But now that's not even a thing anymore. Women can have sex with all sorts of men, get pregnant by all of them, and then just cancel the pregnancy, just cancel the kid. Abortion. You know what I mean? And then just pop some birth control. Birth control shuts down their hormones. They just get masculine as shit. Just masculine as shit. Not feminine anymore. They're zonked in the eyes, bro. They're zonked in the eyes. They're just like on 1,000, bro. Like, you know, and the way that they talk, there's so much privilege. There's so much privilege in their voices, bro. There's so much privilege, independence, power in their voices because all of it was given to them. All of it was given to them. You know what I mean? Because we thought it would be a good idea, because we thought equality was a good idea. Sexual freedom is a good idea. Okay, I get it. I get that they all sound good. I think all those things sound great. Now that we're seeing the effects. But what do we think? What do we think? Oh yeah, it sounds great. Okay, now look at the effects. You know, women can have abortions. Even if they have a kid, they can just get a nanny, because now they make 6 figures a year, right? Most of them make 6 figures a year, or they can if they just boot up an OnlyFans and just spread their butthole online every day. You know what I mean? They can have a kid. They can have a nanny. They can hire a nanny to just raise it. They don't even need a man. They can get with a man, pretend like they have one personality for a year, just fake their personality for a year, have a kid with him, and then just take half of his stuff and take that kid and make sure that he never sees his kid ever again, and then start an OnlyFans and then spread her butthole, and, you know, go to her HR job where she makes 6 figures a year, and pop her lithium, pop her Lexapro, pop her Zoloft, you know, and down her bottle of wine every night, and be absolutely zonked, zero in off of fucking, what do you call them? Birth control pills. They're literally like testosterone pills, bro. They're steroids for women. Just makes them men. And then they're going to conquer the world, you know what I mean? And then they're just going to get on Twitter and they're going to get on TikTok and complain about how they can't get men, and like they're a perfect 10 because, you know, they got a fat ass, and they make their own money, and they drive a Beamer, and you know, they went to college, they got their 4-year degree and their master's degree, and they're an HR manager, and you know, they have all this, you know, they get their nails done, and they look done up in their video, and they're drinking their Starbucks, and I'm a perfect 10. It's like, but you're not, because like you have a body count of like 80, and you know, you're feminist, you're radicalized, you're pumped full of steroid hormones that are shutting down your estrogen, and so you don't even think like a woman anymore. You don't cook, you order Uber Eats all the time. Your son you don't even know where he is right now. He's with your nanny, who is, you know, a Somalian, who doesn't even agree with any of your views on the world, and is probably the most least progressive person ever. And you know, it's just, and we're supposed to work what? We're supposed to work 4 jobs, 3 jobs. Oh, just work harder, bro. Just grit your teeth and double down. Value max, looks max. For what? For this garbage? For this dumpster fire? For these, like, you know? Yeah, come live in my basement, girl. Yeah, that's what I got to offer. I have 2 income streams, and, you know, I beat myself to death, and yeah, I have a basement, a really good basement for you. I got a kitchenette. No stove, no oven. I got a kitchenette, bitch. The washer and dryer is right next to the microwave. The washer and dryer is right next to the microwave. How do you like that? You like that, don't you? That fucking tickles your lithium brain, doesn't it? You want a bottle of wine? You want a glass of wine? You want to watch Industry? You want to watch Industry on HBO Max? Or do you want to watch House of the Dragon? You want to watch House of the Dragon? 2 strong female leads that are ruthless, that are on birth control? You want to watch Industry? All the women in this show are absolutely dominant. Super capable. They're at the top of their field. They're working in banking, making multiple $1 million a year, and outperforming men at this job, and making men their little bitches and their little slaves, and sleeping with tons of men, and doing tons of coke. And apparently this is the dream. This is the dream here. You want to watch Industry with me in my, I don't even know how many square feet this is. 300 square foot basement or 500 square foot basement. I don't even know. 200 square. I don't know. I don't know square feet, bro. You know, is that what you want to do? You know, yeah, I'll look over your body count. I'm really just trying to get some puss. I'm really just trying to get some puss because it's been forever. Because all of us dudes, I don't know if you know this, but basically every man alive has been inundated with porn since he was 12 years old. And so he really just grew up associating porn with pleasure, right? And so he actually can't, he doesn't know how to deal with real women, right? And so is that what you want to do? You want to chill with me? Watch Industry? Dude, it's just, I'm so done with it, bro. So done with it. I'm on one today. And all these women, they're not going to get drafted into World War III. All these women are not going to get drafted into World War III. They're going to find some, you know, oh, well, we carry eggs. We carry eggs. We're the egg carriers. Who's going to stay back and look after the children? What children? What children? You've killed them all. What children? You know, I thought you guys were better than us. You guys are better than us, aren't you? You're better than us. You don't need us. You don't need us. We should have an entire female army. Men are just holding it back, really. I honestly think the US military, all militaries, men are really just holding the militaries back. I think we should just hand off the militaries to the women entirely. Women should be the commanders and the infantry, everything, pilots, everything of the military, okay? Everything would be better. Everything would be better. Men are just getting in the way. We're just causing problems. We're just making blunders left and right and center. We're letting our ego get the best of us. You know, we're letting our desire for world dominance, our toxic masculinity get in the way. You know, we just see puss. We just think with our balls. Women don't think like that. Women are clear, calculated. They need to be leading the front lines. They need to be our army, our navy, our special forces. Megan Rapinoe, baby. Megan Rapinoe. That is who we need. We need Megan Rapinoe. I will not have anybody else. You know what I mean? Megan Rapinoe, Jennifer Carpenter, Sabrina Carpenter. That's right. Sabrina Carpenter. We need Megan Rapinoe. We need Sabrina Carpenter. Let's get Greta Thunberg in the mix. Greta Thunberg, you going to war, baby. Front lines. Let's go. Put on the helmet. Get a gun. Let's go. You know what I mean? Feminism. We need equality. I will not stop until these women are on the front lines, equally represented. Equal representation. If it's not equal representation, it's discrimination. It's discrimination. I will have none of it. Okay? I will have none of it. This is what we need. This is what we need to do. We need to fight for this country, baby. We need to fight for this country where we're all slaves. Can't get women, can't buy houses, can't get anything, can have no future. That's what we have to do. You know? Meanwhile, it's all our fault, right? Because it's all our fault. All of this is all our fault, by the way. All of it's all our fault. You know? It'll always be your fault because you're the man. And if you're one of these guys who says all this stuff and calls this stuff out, and it's just like, look, I don't think the deal is like really a good deal anymore. I think this is all kind of crazy. I think we're all like kind of debt slaves. I think the United States is in they've handled their books the worst of any country in the history of the world, right? They shouldn't be handing me a credit score. They shouldn't be judging whether I have good credit or not. They're not the ones to evaluate whether I have good credit or not. They can get fucked. They can get absolutely fucked. Your credit score, the United States government's credit score is negative, bro. Is negative. It's like negative 5,000. They have a negative 5,000 credit score. And what? You have the balls? You have the balls to tell me I have a 650 credit score? You can get absolutely fucking clocked. Please go die. right? Fuck the US government. Fuck them. I would never, ever fight and die for these niggas. You can suck a dick, man. You can suck a dick. But yeah, apparently we're supposed to, this is what we're supposed to do, right? And I'll lose my train of thought. Here I go. If you're one of these guys who calls this out and has the nerve to call it out and is like, yo, this shit is whack. I think we need to change some things. I don't really want to go and fight for and die for this country. I think women should be drafted, because they want equality. All this shit. I think this country kind of hates me. I think I can't really get ahead. I can't make any money here. There is no future. You're just told that you're lazy. Oh, you're lazy. Oh, you quit. You quit up. You quit. You're a quitter. You give up. Oh, you're just gonna blame it on women? Are you just gonna blame it on women? Oh, you're weak. You're weak. You're lazy and you're weak. In the country, you just want to hide in your basement. You just want to hide in your basement and let the world pass you by instead of do something about it. You know what? We did something about it. We gave you guys equal rights. We gave you guys the keys to the kingdom. We gave you guys sexual freedom. We gave you guys contraception. We gave you guys equal voting rights. We gave you guys equal representation. We gave you guys equal pay. We're still getting yelled at. It's still not enough. We did something. And you know what that something was? That something was absolutely a train wreck. That something got us here. That something got us right here where we're at right now. And they say, what, you don't want to do something? What do you mean? We did something. It was garbage. You know what I mean? Oh, now you have to change it. Or you have to change it back. You have to do something about it. You have to fight and die for the country. You have to fight and die for all these women who hate you, who make more than you. You have to fight and die for these people who exploit your labor and steal your time and energy, your finite time and energy from you. And then have the nerve to say that you're lazy for not wanting to participate in this system that's rigged against you. Oh, you're lazy. You don't want to do anything. Y'all can go absolutely fucking fuck yourselves. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of everybody, man. At a certain point, you just have to be like, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this anymore, bro. I'm just gonna make YouTube videos and I'm gonna live stream and I'm gonna say what I think. I'm not gonna work for nobody else. I'm not gonna kill myself anymore for nothing. You don't kill yourself for nothing. There has to be an ROI. There is no ROI anymore. You don't kill yourself for nothing. You're only here for a limited amount of time on this earth, and you got to enjoy yourself. It's going to be summer. I'm going to get humiliated left and right by all these women who have over 100 body counts, and they're all feminist and brainwashed, and they're all on meds, okay? And they all think they're absolute tens, okay? And they all probably have at least 10 abortions under their belt, and they're zonked out on birth control out there, and they're all like protected with each other in their little gaggles. And I'm going to go out there, I'm going to teeter-totter out of my basement and, come out of the cave like fucking Gollum, like Smeagol, just like fucking Smeagol it out here. I'm gonna Smeagol it up this fucking summer, bro. And I'm gonna fucking humiliate myself, in front of these women who fucking hate me. And I'm gonna have to dance the dance, put on my fucking checkered little fucking boots, put on my hat with the fucking bells. Hey. Hey, what are you guys doing tonight? These women who hate me, making no money, they all make more than me. You only get so much time to do this, So I'm going to enjoy this summer. I'm going to get absolutely wrecked. I'm going to get ego wrecked. I'm going to get dignity wrecked. I'm going to get dignity dragged, dignity rinsed. This is what I'm going to do this summer. This is what I need. You only get one life. YOLO. I'm bringing that back. You haven't heard that in a while. You only live once, man. That was big when I was in high school. Senior year in high school, YOLO was everything. That's when Drake came out with the motto. That's the motto, nigga, YOLO. Single with Lil Wayne. Look it up if you haven't heard it. That thing was everywhere. That was like today's 6ix9ine or 6'7" or whatever the fuck it is. You know, you only get so much time, man. I'm just gonna enjoy this summer. And you know, I just need some time off, man. I just need some time off. I just need to enjoy myself for a little bit, because I could be dead tomorrow. I could be drafted into World War III, into the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz tomorrow. Strait of Hormuz, let's fucking go, baby. Hormuz maxing. I could be drafted into Strait of Hormuz, right on the right-hand flank of Megan Rapinoe, fucking pink-haired Megan Rapinoe in the fucking camos, telling me I'm a dirty little bitch, that I'm patriarchal, that I'm oppressing her, as she leads our front into battle to die against all these niggas in mountains that are just trying to survive and protect their civilization. We don't even, all of us don't even know why we're here. We don't even know why we're here. You know what I mean? We don't even need to be here, bro. We don't even need to be here. But yes, we do. We need to be here. You know why? Because the government has to find some reason to spend money. They have to spend money because they have to service the debt. They have to print money so they can service the debt. The only way out of this is to print. The only way out of this is to expand the money supply. If they don't expand the money supply, if they don't have garbage excuses to spend inordinate amounts of money, like wars, then the entire system collapses, because it's all built on debt. And you have to, your only hope is to inflate the debt away, because at this point the debt is insolvent. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Megan Rapinoe, take us home. Megan Rapinoe, I will die for you. All right, that's my opening salvo. That's my opening salvo. Any questions? Any questions? Taking questions. Taking. What do we think? What do we think, everyone? How long was that? 57 minutes? Jesus Christ. So. Am I okay? Am I okay? Are you okay, Marshall? I'm not okay. I'm never okay. I've never been okay. Yeah, my boss is somebody ask a good question here, or say something that gets my mind going. Mushroom story. There we go. That's a good one. Mushroom story. You guys want to hear about my mushroom trip? Marshall's mushroom trip. Marshall's mushroom trip. It's actually a pretty good one. All right. So I've done psychedelic mushrooms once in my life, and I will tell you about it. So I did it in the Navy. I did it in the Navy. Actually, a lot of dudes actually do psychedelics in the Navy, as opposed to smoke weed or do coke or like meth or anything like that. They'll do hallucinogens, so they'll do LSD and shrooms, because it doesn't show up in your piss. It doesn't show up in your piss or your blood. I think they have to do like a hair sample to get it. I think my boss just texted me again. Dude, what do you mean? He's like freaking out. I say I want to take a 3-4 month break, and he's just like, what? His whole world's crumbling down around him. But so the mushroom trip, So yeah, dudes do a lot of psychedelics in the Navy because it doesn't show up on piss tests. And so it's a way that they can kind of alter their state of mind, because you really go through it in the Navy, let's be honest. And they can alter their state of mind without, you know, getting caught, basically. They don't risk getting caught. Because if you get caught for drugs, like, you're out. You're out. Unless you self-report, like I did. If you do it on purpose and you self-report, then they keep you because they know that you're just trying to get out. So the Navy is fucking bullshit, dude. But if they catch you and you didn't self-report, it doesn't seem like you're trying to get out. Then you're gone. You're gone. Dishonorable discharge. So this was after I had already gotten dropped from my rescue swimmer contract when I failed out of rescue swimmer school. And they dropped me. Performance drop, which is unheard of. But anyway, they hated me. They hated me, dude. I just don't fit in anywhere. I can't assimilate to any sort of structure. Everybody hates me, dude. Everybody hates me because I'm so disagreeable. I'm so just like, dude, fuck this. Any sort of structure, all this bullshit, dude, all this corporate like bullshit power structures, y'all can get fucked, man. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, maybe I'm just meant to tear it down, tear everything down. It's my gift and it's my curse. But so I'd gotten dropped. I was in, I'd already stopped following orders because I got re-rated to be a AV, which is basically you're just working on electrical systems in like helicopters and planes. And it's a bunch of math. And I hate math, bro. I hate math with a passion. I was dying in these classes, bro. I'm surrounded by a bunch of nerds. Here I am. I went out for rescue swimmer. I'm used to being around like a bunch of like dudes who would just like want to work out all the time, and we're just shooting the shit and, you know, popping nicotine pouches, like smoking cigars and like fucking bitches and all this shit, even though I wasn't fucking bitches. My dick didn't work, but they didn't know that. But here I am just sitting around a bunch of nerds in class, and they're all just getting off to a bunch of math questions. Thank you, Felix Y91W for the crocodile emoji, $5. Appreciate it. That's your first super. Oh, thank you. So yeah, I was just in this class. I hated it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to stop following orders. And this is a huge thing. Nobody stops following orders in the Navy, but I ended up doing it. But let's get to the mushroom trip here. So I had been in holding for a while, basically I could basically just do whatever I wanted. Basically, I was just doing whatever I wanted. But I had no car, so I couldn't leave the base. But I had a buddy who, he had a car. And he had a source of a dude who sold some mushrooms. And so it was me, we were all roommates, right? So he was rooming with me, and we had actually gone through boot camp together. He was my A-Rock, which is the guy at the back of the marching who like he sings all the songs, and he shouts all the cadence. He shouts the cadence and he sings all the songs and stuff. So he had actually gone out for SEAL, but he got dropped. He actually DOR'd on SEAL, and which is drop on request. And so he got re-rated to AV as well. So that's electrical, which is what I was, ATI. And so he had roomed with me. He had gotten stationed to Pensacola. He was originally in Coronado over on the other side of the country, but now he was here. And then the other roommate was just this 18-year-old kid, and his name was Avery. And, oh damn, my name dropped. It's okay. He's a nobody, dude, but he was another electrical guy, but it wasn't ATI. But anyway, so we were all rooming together, and my boy got a hookup of shrooms. And so he was like, you want to do shrooms with me? And the other kid, Avery, he's a huge shroom LSD nut. Like, he's like a psychedelic, like absolute goon, right? He's an expert, and he's 18, which is crazy. Like, the dude's 18 and he's already just like, he would pop LSD and just like lay in his bed. He would just pop LSD and just lay in his rack, right? And just fucking put the covers over himself and just like be on his phone for like hours, bro. And he would just turn off the lights in the room. We'd walk in the room and the lights would just be completely pitch black. And we would just like, we'd be like squinting and shit. And then we would see just like a little blue light from like a phone. And there's just like Avery, like his eyes like kind of peek over the covers. And it's like, oh shit, Avery, what's good, dude? What's good? And he's like, oh yeah, hey. And it's just like, are you tripping on acid again? Yeah. It's like, okay, bro. Okay. So that dude, he was completely chill, really cool, but like an absolute hallucinogen goon. I don't know what you call him, but psycho head or whatever. So one day in the morning, we take him with Powerade. My boy was like, let's put him in some Powerade. We put these dried ash shrooms in Powerade. It didn't really taste that good, but it like softened them up, and then we drank it. And then the plan was to go off base because he actually had a spot off base. It was this tiny little shack behind a house that there was just like a studio apartment basically with like another bedroom. And it was basically like this outhouse basically, and a huge shed for all intents and purposes. And because he has a family, and his wife was on her way. She hadn't gotten there yet, but she was on her way en route. So she was on a flight or something to Pensacola, and she was actually pregnant with twins, but she hadn't given birth yet. But she ended up giving birth while they were in Pensacola, which I was present for, and we would, I got to see the twins, all this stuff. Anyway, but this is before all that. So we go to this studio outhouse behind this house, and by the time we get there, I think it's like 30 minutes or so, maybe 20, 30 minutes. So the shrooms haven't taken effect yet. Usually it takes about an hour before they start taking effect. And I was kind of wondering, like, when are they going to take effect, blah, 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 blah. And then we were walking out. We drove just a little bit down the road because we were right next to the river that we cross, because you have to cross a river to get on base to Pensacola. And we were right by this river. And so we're just in nature, kind of walking or whatever. And I start to notice that, something's altered a little bit. Like my memory's a bit altered. And I'm starting to see more vibrantly. I guess that was the one thing that I noticed, is I was starting to see more vibrantly. And then, so basically we go back, and man, I don't know how long it was that we were in the house, but yeah, then shit really started to hit. The ceiling, what I remember is the ceiling tiles. So I think I had taken maybe 3 grams, I want to say, maybe 3.5 grams, something like that, is what we all took. And I was looking at the ceiling, and the ceiling was this popcorn ceiling, but the popcorn ceiling like changes. It like starts to move, right? So if you ever done shrooms, obviously you get visuals, like everything starts to move a little bit. Everything just starts to get kind of wavy, just kind of move, like oscillate, like kind of breathe. Things start to breathe, and colors get really vibrant. And so that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, damn, all right. But the crazy thing is what came after. We were sitting there, and I think I was sitting there. I remember when I really started to hit the trip is when Mac DeMarco, I'm pretty sure it was Mac DeMarco. Let me just check the song real quick. Mac DeMarco, Chamber of Reflection came on, and I had never heard it before. You guys have probably heard this song a lot. Yeah, Mac DeMarco, Chamber of Reflection. You probably heard it a lot because it's all over, like, shorts and stuff like that. But that hit, I had never heard it before. And I was just like, damn. Like, what the fuck is this? It sounded like some Tame Impala. And I was like, damn, this shit hits. This shit is like, I was on cloud 9, dude. Just like tripping balls to that in this fucking shack. We were just in a shack, dude. It was just this, we were just in a room. You know what I mean? Like, we weren't even outside. We were just all huddled together in this room. And my boy Dar, oh fuck, I said his name. But you don't know his first name, so it's fine. But so man, I gotta be careful, huh? So he's fiddling around with a seat. He's trying to build a seat for his chick has a daughter, which is not his daughter, a daughter from another man. And but he's building a seat for this her daughter, who's basically his daughter now. And he's, you know, he has like a hammer and he's trying to do something with this. And like I'm just, for some reason, I was watching him do this and I just start absolutely like, I descend into like uncontrollable like tears and I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing because the thing is, I don't know why he's doing this. And the fact that like, he's just doing something and like, why are you even doing this? You know what I mean? The fact that he could be doing anything and he's doing this, right? You could be doing anything right now and you're doing this. Why are you doing this? And I just kept on asking like, why? I was like, why? Like, why are you doing this? Tears just rolling down. I was just laughing. I was just like, why? Like, what's the point? Like, why? Why would you do this? Why would you do this? And he was just like, he started laughing too. He was like, I don't know. Like, I was like, why are you doing this? And I just couldn't understand it. Like, it literally, like, I was like, why are you doing it? It was a thing where the one thing that I took away from this trip was that I felt like a child. I felt like a baby. I felt like literally like a baby. Like I didn't understand why people did things, why you would do anything. And I was just so confused. I just wanted to ask why for like anything. Anything anybody did was absolutely hilarious to me because it seemed like there was no point to why you're doing it. Like, why are you doing it? It doesn't even matter what you're doing. You could be doing anything. I think like Avery at one point, he sat up or something. And he's fiddling with his like shirt or something. And then he like kind of looks at us and I just bust out laughing. Cause it's like, dude, like, I just didn't understand why you're doing this. So I actually ended up losing during the trip, I ended up losing my CAT card, which is your military ID. So obviously when you're on psychedelics, if you've never done them before, it's kind of like anything, like weed or anything. Any emotions that you go through, positive or negative, are amplified. So you feel them like a lot, feel them way more than normal. And so that's good for positive emotions, but negative emotions, it's not so good. So like, you know, I realized that my CAT card is gone and you can kind of feel the energy in the room. Like all of us start to get like anxious because if things go wrong during your trip, like any little thing goes wrong during your trip, it's like, it's not good, dude. It's not good. Little things. If little things go wrong during a trip, it's not good because your mind is not equipped the way it normally is to handle stress. You just don't handle stress that well when you're on a trip. And so I lost this CAT card and we had to go find it. And, you know, I was kind of like, I was kind of anxious for a little bit. I was starting to have little glimpses of a panic attack and I had to like kind of subdue it because I was like, the last thing I need to do is panic while I'm tripping balls on shrooms right now. And so we went back to where we were in nature when we started the trip and we were like looking, where could this be? Where could this be? And we ended up finding it on the beach. Thank God. It was just in the sand because apparently I'd sat there and it had fallen out of my pocket. And so we found it. And when we found the CAT card, it was like, bro, it was like we had won World War III, dude. It was like we had freed the slaves. Like we had just freed Zion in the Matrix, dude. We were all just like absolutely pumped. Like we were just like, yes. Everything was great. Everything was back to normal. Before it was like dark clouds, you know, we were all just like, nobody was talking. We were all just like, oh my God. Are we ever going to find this card? As soon as I find the card, we're just all like, yeah. We all jump in the car. We're just like, you know, turn on the music, having a great time. It's all a grand time. The funniest moment was I'll end this pretty soon, but the funniest moment was we had walked down the street to a gas station because we were hungry, right? We got the munchies. And I think I had gone in and I just got like a full huge bag of like Ruffles, just like regular Ruffles. And I just remember in the gas station, like, you're just so happy, and it's just like, nobody knows that you're tripping balls on mushrooms, but you're just like so happy. And everybody, you just love everyone. I even love the cashier. I just like, they just brighten my day just by existing. Like, everybody's just great, when you're on shrooms. And as we're walking back and I'm eating this full bag of like Ruffles, and I look to the side of me, and there's this car dealership. It's like a mom and pop shop car dealership. It's not a commercial car dealership. It's just like, kind of like one of those shacks, that have cars out front of it, and has like a ramp up to the door, kind of looks like it was one of those outhouses by a school, where they put classes that, outside of the actual school building. It was one of those things. And then it just had cars outside of it. And we're walking, and I say, because we're hungry and we're on the topic of food, and I say, they look like they have good food. I say they look like they have good food, but I'm not even sure that's a restaurant. And for some reason, this was like the most hilarious thing. Like, everybody just starts dying. Like, my boy just starts absolutely dying, like laughing. Because I was like, they look like they have really good food, but I'm not even sure that's a restaurant. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where you only say that when you're tripping balls. It's just one of those things that you only get that when you're fucking high on fucking shrooms. But yeah, we basically just chilled for the rest of it. We took a drive. At one point I got lost. We went to like a beer garden, but then they had like left without me. And like, that kind of gave me a little bit of a panic attack because I didn't know where they were. And like, when you lose your people, while you're tripping, that's not good either. So it's just really unfortunate. But they ended up finding me. So you've only ever tried weed and it made you really sad, like cry a lot? Damn, that's wild. I've never heard that weed made somebody cry a lot. 30 minutes into shrooms and I was on the toilet seeing an elephant with 8 arms sitting right in front of me and dancing to get my attention. Isaiah, I'm not sure I believe you. You don't hallucinate like that unless, I don't know how much shrooms you took. How much shrooms did you take? That's crazy. I didn't hallucinate. I just had visuals. I didn't hallucinate. I didn't take enough to hallucinate. But Have you ever been rejected by a chick based on your zodiac sign? No, not that I know of anyway. Not that I know of. But a lot of women ask me my zodiac sign. Whenever they hear that I'm a Virgo, they're like, "Oh, he's a Virgo. Oh, he's a Virgo."
Unknown caller.
Apparently Virgos are like super, like, they have crazy standards, just like crazy standards of themselves and others. It's true. It's actually very true. Maybe I should speed up this chat, huh? Can I even do that? Can I do that? Can I? Customization? Oh, here we go. We're on slow mode right now. Let's take it off of slow mode. Speed this shit up. Speed this shit up, bro. Are you an August Virgo? Yeah, I am. when you're on when I'm on shrooms, I see leaves move and I think it's a joke. I get the joke. It's the best joke ever. Same with stars shining or water rippling. Interesting. Interesting. I can get that. I mean, I understand that. I can understand how that could be a thing. Have you body checked any more illegal aliens at the grocery store? I have not. I have not. Just because I've been shopping at grocery stores that don't really have that demographic. I try to go to the, the more white grocery stores now in like whiter parts of town. Cause like I just can't deal with it, man. There's too many fucking Hispanics. Took a few G's at a tool show once. Shit was wild. That would be wild. I would love to take a few grams of shrooms at a tool show. That would be amazing. That would hit different. You got high from 4 days of no food and water? It was painful, but after I ate. God. Did you do that on purpose? That's crazy. Like, you had to, I mean, that's crazy. We got some Virgos in the chat. Allie, you're a Virgo, huh? Interesting. Maybe that's why we get along. Maybe that's why you're my mod, is because we're Virgos. Virgos tend to vibe well with each other. Marshall, why are you vegan? Prepare to get criticized anytime you mention it. Been vegan 7+ years. Yeah. Lord Farquaad's brother. Yeah. Yeah, you do get absolutely obliterated for being vegan, that's for sure. I'm just used to that. I'm used to that at this point. It's basically just, you're basically just numb to it. But yeah, I went vegan initially for, I think it was health reasons initially. I thought it would help me lose weight. If I'm being honest, that's why I went vegan. But then I started to look into the, sort of the ethical debates around it, ethical perspectives, moral perspectives around killing animals when we don't really need to. There's no real necessity to. Now, whether it's, there's a lot of debates about whether it's healthy or blah, 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 blah. I mean, we can get into this whole thing. I went down a whole rabbit hole of like name the trait. I used to watch Ask Yourself a ton. If you guys can look up Ask Yourself's channel. The YouTube channel is just called Ask Yourself. And the dude is an absolute like beast when it comes to logic. He's an absolute like logic fucking king, like a god actually. Almost too much so. Like he is so logical that he almost can't be anything else. And he has this sort of what is it called? Like it's a line of questioning called Name the Trait. He's pretty much famous for this thing, is like name the trait. And I was completely into that for like many years. It's a very strong argument. But I won't get into it because I'm not really looking for debates. I'm not really looking to debate about it anymore because I've debated so many people about veganism in my life. It's like insane. So many debates about veganism, bro. I've talked on every point that you could think of. And so I'm completely worn out. I'm just done, And but yeah, and then I guess I stayed vegan for the moral sort of reasons because I kind of felt bad after you know, I kind of felt bad going back to eating meat, knowing what I knew. Um, and you know, it's just like yesterday I was watching. So I was watching. I keep watching the Indian Wells. It's a tennis tournament in California in the desert, and it's a Masters 1000. So it's one of the biggest tournaments all year, aside from the four Grand Slams. And during a match, there was a cricket on the court. You see this from time to time. Sometimes there's like little bugs, like a beetle or a cricket or something like that on the court. And always, always, the player will stop and try to usher it off the court gently with his racket, or get a ball boy to like pick it up gently and like place it off of the court. And the whole crowd like loves it, right? Everybody claps and they're all like, oh, and like it's this whole thing. And, you know, it's just this show of a kind, you know, respect for your fellow living creatures and all this stuff, right? And you know, all these people that are immensely wealthy sitting courtside at Indian Wells, you know, in the desert, you know, all of these people make millions of dollars a year to have these seats. And, you know, they're the elite, and they're just, oh, this is so great, you know, getting a cricket off the court. I guarantee you, if any player, if there was a cricket on the court or a beetle on the court, and a player went up and stomped it, smashed it with his foot, everybody in the crowd would like gasp in horror. Like people would just be like it would be terrible. You know, everybody would be like, this is awful. Like, what the fuck? And I just find that absolutely hilarious, because they're just cheering this on when like all of them are, you know, complicit in purchasing tons of meat products every single year at restaurants or for their fridge or whatever. And so they completely contribute to full, you know, much more sentient animals like pigs and cows and chickens being slaughtered by the billions, you know, but a cricket on the court, you know, has a fraction of the sentience that a pig or a cow or a chicken does. You know, it's just, oh, that's so great, that's so nice, and they would abhor if it was stomped on the court for like no reason. So, you know, there's just all this, you know, life is just funny. Like I don't really give a shit, you know. At this point, it's just like, I think that this whole thing is a video game, and like it's just meant to frustrate you. It's meant to not make sense, right? All of this is just meant to not make sense, and it's meant to piss you off. And you're just meant to disagree, and everything's meant to be like wrong. And, you know, does good even exist without evil? You know, maybe I've said before, like they're probably just codependent, right? Evil and good are just codependent on each other. You wouldn't know one without the other. So, you know, I don't know. It's just one of these things where I just find it funny, though. It's just funny, but I don't really lose sleep over it. But yeah, that's why I'm vegan. Ask a baddie about veganism? No. Who's your favorite tennis player? It's a good question. Active, of all time, my favorite tennis player is Roger Federer, just because his tennis is the most beautiful tennis. Nobody was such a aesthetically pleasing tennis player as Roger Federer. He played the game with such grace. It's just unmatched. Everything he did on the court looked effortless. and it was just like a dance. It was like literal ballet out there. I mean, he's such a beautiful player, and nobody will ever come close to how beautiful he played the game, how effortless he played the game. It was like silk. It was like butter out there. So I think that's, you know, he's my favorite player ever, but favorite player currently, I would say Jack Draper. I like Jack Draper a lot. I like his game, I like his attitude. Seems like a good dude. He just beat Djokovic last night, which is it was an amazing match. If you watch that Djokovic Draper match, it was fucking phenomenal. It was unbelievable. I mean, Draper's coming off of a long time off too. He has not played tennis for a long time, and he basically took the entire second half of the season off last year, and he didn't play in the Australian Open, which was the first major of the year in January of this year. And like, he's barely played at all. And he comes back and he beats Djokovic, who Djokovic made it to the final of the Australian Open this year. So, and which is incredible in and of itself, unbelievable in and of itself. He's 38 years old and he's like making it to finals. It's like absolutely insane. Just imagine if evil didn't exist. How boring would all of this be? You guys ever think about that? Shit would be hella boring if evil didn't exist. Sometimes I think that. What would you do? You know? What would you do? Things were just good all the time. Things were just good. You know, there was nothing to struggle against. There was nothing to do. There's nothing to struggle against. What would be the point of existing? If you were just happy all the time, if you were just happy, didn't need anything, didn't desire anything, none of us needed anything or desired anything or needed to do anything. We were just happy all the time. Everything was good. Everything was peaceful. Everything was bliss. You know how boring this place would be? You know how boring that shit is, bro? What's the point of even being here? What, so we can all just bask in our joy, in our serenity, in our bliss, so we can all just like jerk off to our own blissful state, our own like, you know, evolved consciousness state. What, we can all just like fucking sit around and just, you know, it's just consciousness vanity, bro. It's just consciousness masturbation. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm just so awake. I just have no attachments. I'm just God. Blah 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 blah. It's all just good, baby. What the fuck are we even doing? You know? Could you really even have? I mean, could you have a good society without evil? Without, could you have a good society and like there be things that you have to do without conflict, like without evil, without, you need some sort of conflict or competition. There has to be some sort of force that you have to work against, some sort of force you think has to be thwarted, right? Because really that's what evil is evil is whatever is actions you want to stop. You want them to not you want them to stop. You want them to not be a thing anymore. You want to thwart them. You want to compete against them. You disagree with them. You want them to stop. And that's really all that evil is. You know what I mean? And you know, it's just, dude, there are times where I don't suffer for a while. Like I just sit here and I just lounge around, and maybe I don't work for a few days and I don't go to the gym and I just sit here and I just like veg out and all this shit. And like, dude, I start to feel miserable because I'm just like, you know, what am I even doing? Like, what's the point? What's the point of all this shit? You know? So moral relativism. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think no, I don't know if I necessarily believe in moral relativism. Not like everything's okay, you know what I mean? I might be a moral subjectivist. I think that whatever your morality is no objective of morality. It's just whatever you choose to think is good or bad, right? I think I'm a moral subjectivist, but relativist, I'm not, because moral relativism is nothing is better than the other. What I believe is not better than what you believe, is not better than what they believe. What our country believes is not better than what this country believes, and we shouldn't argue about it. We shouldn't try to change them. We shouldn't try to do this. We shouldn't try to do that. I shouldn't try to change somebody else's mind. I shouldn't tell them that their position is wrong. It's all good. They can do whatever they want, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Moral subjectivism is more, I believe that morals exist. Like, I want things to be a certain way. I think that certain things are wrong. There's certain things are bad. But I'm just believing this, though. This isn't objective anywhere. It's just something that I believe, right? This is just what I believe. And, you just kind of make your own game, I guess. I know there's hella people that are into the Bible, beliefs, what I realize is that beliefs are a hard thing to give up. You can't just stop believing something, because beliefs determine how you view the world, how you live your life. Like me, how I was thinking about this is like, I was thinking about quitting my job, right? Because I was like, what's the point? But it's like, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done because your mind still believes certain things, right? Like, I believe if I quit this job, then, as soon as I put all my eggs into one basket of YouTube, it's just going to tank. Like, nobody's going to watch. Everybody's going to hate me. It's all fucked, right? Like, it's done. I'm just going to karma's going to slap me with its big old dick, and I'm done. And, so I have trouble thinking that things are going to work out for me. I have trouble, I also assess it from a risk standpoint of like, it's good to have 2 jobs than one. What if I lose one? Then it's good to have the other one. You know what I mean? So you have this risk evaluation of like, well, yeah, it's better from a risk standpoint. It's wiser to have 2 jobs, right? And so I think I should do that. And then I have this other part of my mind that's like, I've been given 2 jobs. This is a bounty. This is a windfall. This is a blessing. It's a blessing that I have 2 jobs, right? It's a blessing. I shouldn't throw one away. This is what God has given me, or the higher powers has given me, Krishna has given me, Vishnu has given me. And, then I think, well, I'll just, if I quit my job, I'll be lazy. It's just lazy. Something bad's going to happen, or, just take it as it comes. Don't make your own decisions, all this stuff. And, you should work hard. You should, if your employer has treated you well, you should reward him and treat him well, and blah, 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 blah. But you have all these beliefs, right? You have all these beliefs, and I can't just stop believing them tomorrow. I can't just stop believing them today. I can't just stop believing them on a dime. I can't just stop, and, even though that's what I need to do to like actually quit this job, I would have to stop believing these things, right? So you try to, it's a real bitch, man. It's a real bitch, because stop not believing something is very, very difficult. And that's the crazy thing, is like, we often think beliefs are just these things that they seem like this thing that we just have in our minds that if we just let go of, we could change our behavior or change the outcome of our lives. But beliefs are sticky, man, and they're entrenched. They have roots. They are you. It's almost like they're your identity. Beliefs are incredibly hard to get rid of, So it's not so simple. It's not so simple just to like, I just need to change what I believe. I just need to do this. I just need to do that. You can't just do this and do that, and then you quit your job and go do this and go travel or go, or whatever you want to do or don't want to do. You can't just, or give up this, stop texting your ex that hates you, or stop you know, double texting the chick who, you know, she's ghosted you for a month, but you guys were, you know, it was great for a few months there, and now she's gone, and like, and now you're just upset. Like, you can't just, anybody can tell you, well, you need to stop doing that. Well, you know, it's just not, it's not so simple. It's not so simple because you have these beliefs in your head. Beliefs, man. Beliefs suck. Beliefs suck. You're in a good position, Brockway. The wage gives you the ability to be more real on YouTube because you're not totally reliant on YouTube for income. Yeah, and that's another one I thought about. God damn it, Lord Farquaad's brother. Fuck you, dude. Damn it. Stop making good points. Don't make this harder for me than it already has to be. I know what that's, yes, I know. There's a lot of advantages to keeping this job, but again, like, what is it worth, bro? What is it worth if I have to work so much, you know, for nothing? You know, what are you even working towards? What are you even working towards? There's nothing to show for it. I guess I'm just getting, am I getting impatient? That's another thing that I tell myself, but you tell yourself you're just being impatient. Just wait, just wait. You're just being impatient. Just wait, just wait. You're being impatient. 10 years goes by. You know what I mean? But like, you know, there's the question of why are you even living this life? Why are you even living this life? Are you living it just to make as much money as possible and have, you know, multiple income streams and, you know, is that why you're, you know, to get women and to get a family and get a house and get this and get that? It just never ends. It just never ends, dude. It just never ends. It will never end. You know, that's the way of the world. The way of the world is people are full speed ahead, trying to get more and more and more and more and grow and grow and grow and get this and that and this and that and this and that. And it just never ends. It never ends. It will never end. There's no end to that. You just keep going and going and going. What's the next obstacle? What's the next thing I can get? And, you know, what's the point? What's the point? At a certain point, you just have to be like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like I need a break. The meaning of life is to live. Yeah. Fear is the biggest hindrance. Men live in trenches in pajamas without showering for months. Why are you afraid? I know, dude. Like, what am I afraid of? Being broke for a bit? I've been broke my entire life. This is the most money I've ever made. And like, still, it's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still living in a shithole, even though it's good enough for me. But, you know, these Western women, bro, they live in way nicer places than I do. But there's so many things wrong with, why do I think that getting a woman is going to make me, is going to do anything for me, is going to make me happier in some way, you know? If there's no point, why care so much? That's a great point. I don't really, the problem is that I can't really care, right? I don't really know how to care about things. I don't know what I would care about, you know? I try to care, but I can always convince myself out of caring about anything. Anything that I care about for a little bit, I end up like losing care for it, you know? I'll have care temporarily and then I won't care, you know? And yeah. It's tough. It's tough when like you just feel like living life is like a lot of all the things that we do are just pointless. It's tough. You know, and you have to believe something false. You have to believe an illusion. You have to believe a delusion to to live some sort of life that most people live, right? And I don't know. There are really just trade-offs. Do you believe in free will if you can't not have a bad thought? No, we don't have free will. I don't believe in free will. If you had free will, you could shut off all terrible thoughts in your mind instantly. If you had free will, you could force yourself to have the conviction and the discipline to go lose weight and go to the gym over and over and over again. And even though you didn't like it, right? And you could have the discipline to eat, moderate meals and nothing unhealthy, and eat very lean and healthy things, and lose weight if you had free will. If you had free will, all of us could lose weight. All of us could read all the books that we wanted to, that we never seem to, like, we want to read books, but for some reason we never do because we don't have the discipline to do it, or we don't enjoy doing it. If you had free will, you could make yourself do it. You could make yourself enjoy doing it, right? Oh, damn it. Or maybe you couldn't make yourself enjoy doing it, but you could make yourself do it, right? If you had free will. If you had free will, you could basically make yourself into a superhuman. You could make yourself into the most ideal version of yourself. You'd be the most beautiful. You'd be the most intelligent. You couldn't. Why did I just go full on retard stutter there? You could construct yourself in the way that you want to. 100% if you had free will. You would never have to have a bad thought again. If you have like intrusive thoughts or lustful thoughts, if you had free will over what you think, right? If you had free will about what the thoughts you have are, well, you wouldn't have those thoughts anymore. And then there's some people who are like, oh, you have free will over actions, but you don't have free will over thoughts. You don't control what you think, but you control what you do about what you think. Well, if you don't control what you think, how do you get this idea that you control what you do about what you think? If you don't even control what you think, you know what I mean? I don't know where this, it's like you have no control. You have no control over how your body functions, right? Your body runs, you're not thinking about how you digest food. You don't have free will and choice about how you digest food, or about how your blood is being circulated, right? Or what dreams you have, or, you don't have free will about how your skin is being moisturized or how new skin cells are being replenished. You don't have free will about growing your hair. You're not consciously deciding to grow your fingernails and grow your hair and moisturize your skin and heal your wounds and digest your food and, manage acid reflux and all these things. All of these things operate without any conscious decision. And somehow people think, and your thoughts operate without conscious decision. Somehow people think there is something called free will here that comes in where you have control over something. It's like, no, you've never had control. None of us have control. We're all out of control, completely out of control. We're all just one thing, right? We're all connected. We're all one thing that's kind of moving. I don't control, if I had free will, I could control, I could find the exact perfect word all the time. All the words that I know, I could find the perfect one all the time. And all my sentences would be perfectly constructed. I would never stumble over my words. My brain would never fart. It would never miss. I could completely just hit all the time. And, I would know, if I had free will, I would know what I'm going to say next. I would know exactly how I would say it, the voice inflection that I would say it with. The emphasis I put on each syllable, my facial expressions, right? I would know I would consciously intend to do all those things. But you don't. You just notice, it feels real because you're just, the delay time is just so short, but you feel like you're doing it. You feel like you're doing it, but really you're not. You're not. Even if free will is an illusion, it's a real illusion. Yeah, I would agree with that. It feels real. Absolutely it does. Free will feels real, but I think it at bottom it is an illusion. There's no control, only the illusion of control. Yeah, exactly. I think you are confusing free will with being a robot. Weird. Explain. Explain further in detail. What's the difference between a human being having free will and being a robot? Does a robot choose what he does? Are you a comedian? Some people say I am. Leave the nation, Marshall. Shit. You're more whiny than my depressed married sister. Yeah, she's depressed and married. Brave new radical 4908. Thank you for the super chat, man. $5. Appreciate it. If free will erases the ability to make mistakes, then everyone would be perfect. What would be left to aspire to? Yeah. There would be nothing left to aspire to. That's what that means. Because if you have free will, why would you make mistakes? Tell me, if you have free will, why would you willingly make mistakes if everybody else is not going to make them? If you have the power to not make them, if you know that your competition, everybody that's competing over these limited resources, is probably not going to make them, right? Why would they make them on purpose, right? So why would you make yours on purpose? So why would you make mistakes if you had free will? You wouldn't. So everyone be perfect in their own eyes, right? They would make themselves into the perfect being that they want. And what would be left to aspire to? Well, I guess there's infinite. There is a. I think that's on an infinite trajectory of aspiring to be perfect. Perfection is not something you reach, I don't think. Once you know 8 languages and you know piano like Mozart did, and you can play the guitar like Guthrie Govan, and you know physics like Einstein and all these things, I think there's more you can do. There's definitely more you can do. I think there are limits on your genetic potential, though. There's probably limits on your genetic potential, although I don't know. If you had free will, you can overcome a lot of your genetic handicaps, probably. But I mean, your genetics still probably matter. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for the super. Appreciate it. Brave new radical. Mistakes are an illusion. Yeah, I agree. Your idea of free will is man-made. I don't think you can truly understand what free will is. If you were born in the woods, you wouldn't be thinking about that. Well, that's the easiest. That seems to be the easiest counter of all, we can't understand what free will is. I'm assuming because why can't we? Because why? Because of God? Because God gave us free will? Well, anything that God gives us, we can't know what it is, huh? Well, then we shouldn't talk about anything when it comes to God. Because how could we understand it? How could we understand anything when it has to do with God, huh? How could we interpret God? Why do we even talk about God then? We can't truly understand it. So what the fuck are we all talking about then? We can't truly understand it. In the Bible, Lucifer had free will and decided to go against God. Was that a free will mistake? No, that was determinant. That was deterministic. That was determined. Yahweh, the big old man upstairs, he knew Lucy was going to turn on him, bruh. He knew Lucy was going to turn on him. I mean, think about it. You know, God is omniscient, right? He's all-knowing, right? He's omniscient, he's omnipotent, and he's omnipresent, right? Is it right? Because if you don't admit those things, then you're in danger of not thinking that God is not God then, right? If he's not omniscient and he's not omnipotent and he's not omnipresent, then how could he be God? Tell me, right? So he has to be omnipotent, he has to be omniscient, and he has to be omnipresent. He has to be everywhere, always, all at once, in the future, the present, and the past. He's everywhere. Time doesn't exist for him. Time is just a painting, right, that he's looking at. All of human time, or universal time, whatever, right? He exists outside of time. He is not bounded by time. He's omnipotent. He's all powerful. He has the power to do anything, to conquer anything, to create anything, to stop anything, right? If he doesn't, then how could he be God, right? If he doesn't have the power to stop it, how could he be God? What if something happens, right? What if something happens that he didn't plan it? You know, he doesn't have the power to stop it. He doesn't have the power to do anything about it. He could be destroyed, you know? How could that guy be God? If there's somebody, that means that that almost seems like we're more powerful than him, or other beings are more powerful than him. Omniscient, he has to know everything. He has to know everything. He has to know everything. If he doesn't know everything, then how could he be God? Right? It would suggest that there's somebody or some being that knows something he doesn't. Maybe they know more than he does. Well, then he's not God, right? So God has to be omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. But if he's omnipotent, and if he's omniscient, and if he's omnipresent, right? Then he always knows what he was going to do. He always knows what's going to happen, right? He can't change what's going to happen. There is no surprises to him. Nothing is a surprise to him, right? He always knows what's going to happen. He always knows what human beings are going to do. He knows what any being is going to do at any given moment, right? He knew from the very jump. There's nothing outside of his control. It would be, he would essentially just be like a running program. Like there's no uncertainty in that. There's no, I mean, how is that even interesting? You know what I mean? And if this is the case, how do human beings have free will? If he knows what you're going to do, he knew what you were going to do before you did it. You know, there's nothing that you can't do anything that surprises him. He knows what's coming. All right. So how could you have free will? What does free will even mean if God knows that it's going to happen? How free are you? How free are you if God knows that it's going to happen? That you can't surprise him. That means that you can't make your own choices, because whatever choice you made, God knows that you're going to make it. It was already predestined, preordained. It was already determined. Right? How would this even be interesting for him to watch, for him to participate in? How would this be interesting for him to participate in? Imagine if you knew everything that was going to happen from anywhere, right? You know everything, you're all powerful, you're omnipresent, you're everywhere all at once. How would it even be interesting? It's like everything happens in an instant, and you know it's going to happen, and it's just like it's like the worst play ever. It's like the worst movie ever. It's a movie that you've watched. It's God is a guy that's watched a movie 1,000,000 times. And he's just sitting there, and he knows every single line, and he knows every single pixel, and he knows everything. He knows everything's going to happen exactly how it happens. You know what I mean? How would it even be interesting? It wouldn't even be interesting, bro. You'd just be this dude who's just like, oh yeah, cool, it happened. It happened just the way that I thought it was going to happen. You know what I mean? Just the way that I planned. There is no God. God exists. Yeah, this is the good one. God exists. Your mind just doesn't comprehend him enough. I mean, I love this. I love this, dude. I love this. And why are we even talking about him? Right? God exists. Your mind just doesn't comprehend him enough. What do you mean? What do you mean? What if you don't comprehend him enough to even say that? What if you don't comprehend him enough to even say that, bro? How do you know that? How do you know that, bro? How do you think your mind comprehends him enough to even say that sentence? What if your mind doesn't comprehend him enough to even know if he exists? Or if my mind comprehends him enough? You know what I mean? Like, it's just recursive. It is interesting to suffer. Yes, it's interesting. I don't know, Marshall, but I have seen the devil. Hey, man. I am not saying that evil isn't real. But if evil is real, didn't God create it? Didn't God create it? He's omnipotent, right? So God had to allow evil. He had to have allowed Jeffrey Epstein, right? And all his victims. And all the children getting fucked and pushed out the door. The hatch, the door into the ocean. You guys seen that shit? That image? Got another one from Brave New Radical. Does God already know who is going to hell, and there's nothing we can do to redeem ourselves if we're one of those people? He already knows what's going. Yeah, he already knows who's going to hell. Yeah, I would say that if you're God, you have to know who's already going to hell from the jump. And it doesn't mean that there's nothing that you can't do to redeem yourself. You can do. Oh no, yeah, 100%. There's nothing you can do to redeem yourself. Although, if you do redeem yourself, he knows that eventually where you're going to end up, right? So if you're going to hell right now, if you end up being somebody who redeems yourself, then, which apparently the only way to do this is to say that you love him and he's the creator, and like you want to jerk off to him. You know what I mean? Like, he's super vain. Like, basically that's the only way you can, like, apparently you can rape children all your life and, like, steal a bunch of money and murder a bunch of people. But if on your deathbed you just say, I love Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. I love God. The Bible is real. I give everything to him, blah, 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 blah. I want his forgiveness. Well, then you're going to spend eternity in heaven and paradise and all this shit. It's going to be a grand ball. Tame Impala is going to be bumping. Tool's going to be bumping up there. Well, I don't know if Tool's going to be up there, but, somebody who's a really good person, who's never hurt anybody, who tried to live his life the best way he could, and, tried to live his life virtuously, he's going to hell. He's going to hell because he just don't believe that there's an imaginary dude in the sky, who like wants everybody to bend the knee to him. He's going to hell, So it's like, these are the same atheist. I mean, I'm not saying anything new here. These are just all the same atheist fucking, points that have been said over all of time. Are you retarded? Yes, I'm retarded. 100%. Only retards here. If God exists, then why are there wars? Because he wants wars to exist. Must be. The devil sucks cack. Religious talk is boring, not gonna lie. I agree, dude. I agree. Life is a humiliation ritual. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think any of us would be so nihilistic and so in like a bad place mentally if the money wasn't corrupted. If you could go to work 40 hours a week and save hella money and buy assets and your purchasing power went up over time and you could make something of yourself and get ahead and your efforts were rewarded and you could get a good woman and get children and there was something to live for. There was a reason to work. There was a reason to suffer. I don't think any of us would be here, right? I don't think any of us would be so nihilistic. I think this is a problem of the money. I think we're all downstream from money. We're all downstream from us, the token that holds our time and energy, that our finite time and energy that we spend. And no social media. Yeah. Social media is kind of shitty. Blame the boomers. Well, I mean, the boomers didn't do this on purpose, but they didn't know what they were doing, bro. This is more than the boomers. This is the Federal Reserve. This is the elites. This is just government. And the boomers were just, I mean, they're just pawns on the chessboard, I don't think they really. Mm. We need to purge corn from the web. Yeah, I agree. I asked ChatGPT why I had erectile dysfunction when I was like 19, 20, which is crazy that I'm asking. I mean, just look at what we're doing, man. Just look at what we're doing. I'm a 33-year-old man that's asking ChatGPT, a AI in my phone, why my dick didn't work starting at age 19 when I should have been in my absolute prime, my sexual prime. And like, why didn't it work for, what was it, 11 years, 12 years? Why didn't it work for that long? Why was it just absolutely garbage? Like, why? And I gave him all these things that I was doing, you know, what my habits were. How I was drinking coffee, I was using cologne, I was using deodorant, antiperspirant deodorant. I was working out 5 days a week really hard. I was looking at porn a lot. I was jerking off. I was, you know, doing all this stuff. And you know, I'm just telling this AI this shit. It's all going to Sam Altman's fucking it's all going to his iPad, dude. He's just fucking laughing about it in something in the back of some Cadillac with fucking Peter Thiel. And you know, as they fucking, I don't know, they just sacrifice some baby and just throw it out the window, but and then light up a cigar and just cheers to, you know, taking over the world. But it's just crazy that I'm asking this, you know? I'm asking, like, I'm giving all this information, giving him my entire life story. Why did I have erectile dysfunction when I was 19 for like a decade in my sexual prime? Why did my sexual prime get absolutely stolen from me? You know, why is it when I should have been banging the most chicks and like the most attractive and doing the most things and being the most, you know, active and proactive and productive and having the best time of my life? Why is it that you know, I was just, you know, the one thing about a man, you know, that I just couldn't do, you know, I just couldn't get it up. Why is it? And it told me, and what ChatGPT seems to think is that it was definitely porn induced. It was from a young age, your brain is still, it's still developing, right? And your pleasure centers are still developing. And so early on, if you start looking at porn at like 14, 15, like I did, you know, your pleasure centers are still developing. Your brain is still developing. And your brain basically developed to associate pleasure with hyper novelty, hyper stimulation of the internet, right? And I mean, dude, it was so bad. Like I couldn't even let go of my schlong, you know, or it would just fall down. You know what I mean? Like I had to look at porn and I had to stimulate. I had to look at porn, had to stimulate, had to keep stimulation going, or it would just go down. You know what I mean? And that's like crazy. And it said, yeah, it was because your body just basically associated, you looked at it so much, your body just basically associated, you know, hyper novelty, hyper stimulation, hyper, what is it called? Explicit stuff with pleasure. And that's just not normal. It's just not normal. But you did it so much that your brain developed that pathway. It just developed. That's how you fire. That's how your dopamine fired. That's how your pleasure fired. That's how it developed. And so then when you were with real women, it just felt like you were. It felt like you were, you know, in a room with a fucking, you know, piece of paper. You know, like it just felt like you were in the room with a fucking, you know, just a fucking plant or something, just an inanimate object. Like it's literally doesn't do anything for you. Like it feels so boring. It feels like black and white. It feels like black and white where porn feels like color, hyper color, technicolor, you know, cloud nine, you know, being with a real woman, even if she's hot, feels like black and white, dude. It feels like, it feels like you're watching a movie with no sound. And you just got subtitles and it's black and white. It's one of those old movies. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like. And it's just crazy that this happened. It's crazy that like, it's not banned, you know, it's crazy that any guy can just look at this stuff. You can pull it up instantly and nobody's educated about it. It's crazy that by the time I was 19, bro, it's crazy that by the time I was 19, dick didn't work. Like Dunzo, you're out of the game. You're out of the game. Even at that point, if I had stopped, it would have taken me probably a few years to get back to normal, right? It would have probably taken me 2 years to get back to normal, right? 2 or 3 years. I mean, it's just crazy, bro. It's just crazy. It's just, what are we even doing, man? What is this world? It's just funny. It's honestly funny at this point. You know, but now what I'm planning on doing is, what I actually haven't done is like, whenever I jerk off now, which is like, you know, very infrequent, I usually go like spans of 2-3 weeks without doing anything. Which is like really good. And I think I'm just gonna stop looking at porn when I do it and just like do it with my imagination now. You know, if I need to jerk off, I'll just do it with my imagination, because I was scared of doing that, because what I was scared of doing is I thought that maybe if I do that, it wouldn't satisfy, right? Even though you're releasing, it won't satisfy because you didn't look at porn, right? You didn't see the hyper extreme images. And so I just kind of worried that like, oh, I would bust, and then I would be like, you know what, that didn't really satisfy. Let me go look at some porn too, you know, and then like bust again. So it's like now it's a double whammy. But I think I'm gonna, if you know, whenever I do it now, I think I'm just gonna be like, no porn, you know. When I finally got a girlfriend, my brain was already too damaged and I could barely stay hard with her. It's horrible. Yeah. It is horrible, dude. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. It makes you feel like you're not a man. Like there's nothing worse for a man. There's literally nothing worse for a man than like just not being able to do anything, like not being able to perform. They programmed us to watch men deep throat and anal fuck women. It's still homosexual acts. It makes you empty because you're not actually touching the woman. Yeah, it's true. Wake up with wood every morning because that's because I'm not a vegan. I don't think it has anything to do with a vegan, dude, because, you know, I'm still vegan and my shit's basically healed at this point. So how come I watched a shit ton of porn and my dick is literally always hard? I mean, that's a great point, dude. I don't know, dude. Sometimes I think maybe ChatGPT's wrong. Maybe it's wrong, dude. Maybe there was a ton of factors, but you know, I hear about that stuff, right? Elon Husk, tell me something. Do you only watch porn, right? Do you watch porn a lot and you fucking jerk it all the time? Or do you, while using porn, are you also in with real women all the time, right? Are you with real women a lot? Because if you're with real women a lot, I think that's probably why. Because your pleasure center never was actually just like, it wasn't diverted into solely pixels. It still knows how to get aroused with real women, you know? So I would just ask that. But I mean, dude, you could be right. You could be right. I don't want to say for sure it's porn, but I don't think it helps. Anybody else have, you know, do you guys look at porn all the time and like you never have dick issues? I'm curious. Yeah, same. I never had that problem. I watch it all the time. Saucy says that. Really? How old are you guys? We're all just talking. We're all just talking about porn, and dick issues. I'm sure the women love this. The only safe porn for males is girl on girl. Anything else is gay as fuck. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Girl on girl has never really done it for me. Maybe I'm a homo. A homo. He's a homo. That's from Wedding Crashers, I think. Isaiah, fucking shut the fuck up, bro. You're not jerking off 20 to 24 hours per day. You're ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know, dude. You guys, I've managed to keep it at once per week, but I want to get to your level, Marshall. How do you go beyond a week? Doesn't it get uncomfortable down there? I mean, yeah, I mean, at first it did. At first it did, but you know, you do it long enough and you get better at it. I guess you transmute the energy. Transmuting the energy. Going to strip clubs seems healthier than online stuff, to be honest. At least a strip club, you get to interact with a real person. Yeah, but strip clubs, you know, I went to a strip club once and I got, dude. I got for those lap dances. And dude, it's terrible. Number one, if you're not looking at porn and you're going to strip clubs, number one, you're paying money, right? You're paying money, which sucks. Porn is free, okay? And I've gone to a strip club a couple times, but I went with my buddy once, and there was this hot chick, and she was stripping. She was up there. She was white. She had kind of a nice butt. She didn't really have that big of tits, but she was hot, dude. And you know, I didn't really throw money. I didn't throw any money. I didn't give her any money. But then she came over and she was like, you want some time? Like, you want a lap dance or something like that? And I was like, okay, sure. And so I go back into the one of the rooms. We pull the curtain and she's just grinding on me. She's grinding on me. She's got the blue thong on and, like, you know, her tits completely out, and she's like leaning back on me and all this shit. Like, you should be hard as fuck, right? You should be hard as fuck. You should be just fucking Antarctica in that bitch. Okay. My shit was donezo. My shit was flatter than flat, dude. It was nothing. It was a worm. It's just a fucking worm. It was useless. And she's just like grinding on me, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, dude, like, I've been in such spots, man, or I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, this is bullshit. Like, fuck this shit. Like, fuck this. Like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? And I'm just sitting there, I'm just hoping that it can get hard, but like, it doesn't. And like, she just keeps going, and like, she doesn't say anything. And I'm sure it happens a lot, honestly. I'm sure she probably comes across that a lot. And we get out. It was like 5 minutes long or whatever. Get out, and it's like $184. Brings me up to the cash register. I have to pay immediately, and it's $184. And then I have to tip. And a tip is like required. So it was like, you know, I think it was like 15 or 20% you had to tip. And so it ended up coming out to like almost $200 for like a 5-minute lap dance. Dude, I absolutely got, like, they just fucking, I didn't get nothing, bro. I didn't get nothing. That is called financial abuse. Exactly. This was in LA. For a fucking lap dance. Yeah, I know. It was a ripoff, dude. It was terrible. Yeah, I got fucking scammed, dude. I got absolutely scammed. I learned my lesson, dude. I had to learn a lesson. I think I was like 27, 26 at the time. And I learned my lesson, dude. That's extortion, robbery. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. It was bad. It was bad. I just left. I was just like, not only did my dick not work, I feel like a bitch, but I just got rinsed for $200. Like, I'm just a bitch, dude. I'm just a bitch. Like, you got to learn from those. You got to learn from those things. Allo, what the fuck are you saying? Visual, obviously. Visual is a must. Emotional, intelligent, intellectual connection. No, no, it's not a thing. Not a thing. Yeah. Lord Farquaad's brother. Yeah, he says 98% of men need visual. Yeah, absolutely. You need visual. You need visual. 100%. It doesn't mean that, being emotionally into someone when they're in the room with you, like a visual, if you have visual and you have the emotional connection, well, then it's a lot, the arousal is a lot stronger than just pure visual. Like, say you don't know the bitch, or it's like a one night stand or something like that. But Elon Husk, you paid 200 for a threesome with 2 Colombians. Damn, bro. You sound like you got the wildlife. That's what I need to be doing, man. I need to live a little, you know what I mean? Ugh. Honkler. Why, I think I'll just die with porn, not something I'm worrying about anymore. Come on, man. Really? You just want to jerk it to porn for the rest of your life? No real women? I mean, I kind of understand, but yeah, you guys are talking about like Pornhub never hurt you. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the thing. Maybe it's not the reason why it happened to me. I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe my cortisol was too elevated. There's just no way to know what it was. I hate that. There's like no way to know what the cause of anything was. Fucking hate that, dude. Why is it? Why is that? Why is that a thing? Being with real women sucks. All men just want to sleep with women and bounce once they get annoying. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, dude. It's terrible to say, but that is pretty much it, you know. A lot of women are just they're not great. They're not great aside from sex, which is just the truth. Did you ask that chick in the gym, is she watching NBC News? No. I didn't go to the gym today. But yeah, I won't go tomorrow either because I have to work. Sucks. But anyway, I think that's good enough, guys. I think that's long enough for the stream. Appreciate you guys joining. Appreciate the guys who sent the super chats. Very much appreciated. Can't really remember your names, but yeah. It was fun hanging out. Hope you guys have a good rest of your nights. And possibly tomorrow. I work tomorrow, but it should be at the same time. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or maybe a little maybe a little later. I don't know, but maybe 6 or something. But I'll shoot for 5, just depending on how I feel. But yeah. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.